What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. So we have another spooky season video, and I literally just did this look like 2 days ago. But anyways, I decided to do a look for Motor Brushes like last week of like their like theme contest or whatever, and the theme was classic goal or classic glam goals and like ghouls. I mean, my bad. But yeah, I wanted to do like a ghost makeup look, and like the look came out completely different than what I planned. Like I wanted to do like like a blood scab somewhere, like a scar on my eye. I wanted to do like vampire fangs, but when I like started doing the look, I was like, okay, I'm fucking with the vibe. So yeah, I changed my mind. But anyways, I knew I wanted my brows to be black, but I wanted the tail to be a different color. At first I wanted it to be gray, like, but then like by the end of the look it looked black. So I don't even, yeah, I could just get the whole brow like one color. But I decided to use the color case from Made by Mitchell because I really wanted to use the brow sludge box, but they didn't have like a black in there. It was like a grayish brown color, but I was like, yeah, that's not the vibe I'm going for. But I just used the angle liner, and I like using like pomades like that. I feel like it gives like dip brow from like back in the day. Like that's the type of texture it is. But yeah, you see me trying to do the gray tail with this color fix from This Smartest Beauty. At first it was white, but then I was like, hold up, like my highlight and stuff is gonna be white, so I was like, it's not gonna really show up. To clean up my brow, I decided to just use the play pigment from Tracy Cosmetics in the white one, just because I use these to like, do my eyeshadow base all the time, and I knew that I wanted my highlighted area to be white. So I was like, I'll just use this instead of using like my color fix to like, do my eyeshadow base and my highlights. But I just took this like Glisten Cosmetics brush, and it's like an angled concealer brush, and I cleaned it up, and then I was like, okay, the pigment is not giving pigment. I don't know what it was, like, because maybe it's just like I'm running out of product or whatever, because I feel like, I've had a whiter base using this product before, but who freaking knows at this point. But yeah, I'm just blending it out, trying to make sure like it's even as possible, but the base was not as like pigmented as like normally my bases are. So that was just something like I was noticing when I was like doing my eyeshadow. But I'm setting it with the RC Made No Color Powder just to make sure that it's set and everything, and trying to make it like a little bit more even. And then I'm going in with my Twilight collection palette from ColourPop, and I try to use this palette as much as I can because I don't normally go for cool tones, but for this look I was like, you know what, cool tones would eat. So that's what you see me doing here. And for some reason I wanted to do like some brown with like blue. I don't know, like it was just giving in my head when I was thinking about like classic stuff. I was trying to think about like how they used to do makeup like decades ago and stuff, and something was like, let's do a brown eye with like champagne-y like silver. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna use to cut my crease. And I didn't realize that my camera was like way too far down. Like I'm not gonna lie, the little tripod thing that I use, that shit is broke as fuck. Like I tried to fix it with hot glue, this shit broke again. So it's just holding up by pure strength. So I definitely need to get a new tripod, but that'll probably be like in a month or two. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to wait for that. But I'm using this liquid eyeshadow from Makeup and Murder, and I basically used it to cut my crease. And then I just took this shimmer that I had from the Twilight palette, and I'm just patting it on just to make it pop a little bit more. That's like my trick whenever I do my cut creases. I like to use whatever like color I plan on using like on top, like for like the base. I just use that same like liquid eyeshadow product because I just feel like it works a little bit better, and that way like if I'm doing a shimmer or whatever, it can be a little bit more pigmented and opaque. And then I just decided to use these I think it's Lost Signal like tape from Makeup and Murder, because I have not used them yet. I got them when I got this like mystery box, and I don't normally use tape for my makeup. I used to like back like in high school and stuff, but I was like, you know what, let's just do a wing. And I was like, that'll be perfect timing to use that. So I feel like it came out pretty well. It's definitely different than like me just freehanding my wings, because my freehanded wings, like, they never end up how I want them to. But yeah, I feel like it was a cute look, a cute vibe. And I'm using this cream makeup from Maron. When I did the makeup look for the zombie, I feel like it came out well, but like I don't know what it is about the cream makeup from like Maron. One, like, depending on like what color it is, it can be patchy. Like the purple, oh my god, that was like the worst. Oh my god, like it looked crazy as hell. I'm not gonna lie to you, I had to like go over it with so much stuff just to try to make it look a little bit pigmented. But with this, like, this does not layer well with like liquids or creams on top, and I thought it was gonna do okay when I was doing my like highlighted areas with my like concealer, quote unquote. But girl, this shit was giving me a run for my money. And I don't know, I need to find some like good bases for like lighter tone colors, because I feel like when it comes to like regular bases, you know, I feel like I'm good. I can get that pigmentation how I want it to be. But it's just something about like them lighter bases that I feel like the patchiness and like is not always as opaque as I wanted to. And I'm trying to fix that because I want my looks to come out how I want them to look. But anyways, yeah, I'm just like blending out in small areas. I definitely wouldn't add this product in like, you know, all over your face and then blend it out all at once. No, because that shit's gonna dry and you're gonna look crazy, because like I said, this is not the best product to layer with creams and stuff. So trying to do 2 layers, I don't know if I would want to do 2 layers with this. I feel like it still wouldn't give what I wanted it to give. But yeah, we're just blending it out, and I just used the like flat brush just to like clean up the wing to make it a little bit sharper, you feel me? And then I'm just like trying to make sure that every area is even. And it took me a little second to blend this out, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm going back in with that play pigment as my highlighted area, and you'll see in a second as I blend it out what I was talking about earlier. Like, look at this. Do you see how there was like an empty spot, or like the middle area looked like it was kind of like translucent, like you could kind of see my skin? Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to liquid and cream makeups, especially when you're doing stuff with like products that aren't necessarily like made to be face products, I feel like sometimes you can encounter issues like that. That's why I love doing my makeup like whenever I have free time and stuff, because me practicing, like, it helps me like plan for the future. So it's like, okay, I'm learning from all like the different mistakes I've had, and I'm just learning from the experiences of using certain products. So yeah, when it comes to you doing your makeup, like, I mean, do your makeup whenever you feel like doing your makeup, but your like trial areas, or like those times when you just try new stuff, like those are important, because you know it can really transform how you do your makeup. And yeah, I feel like my style has evolved so freaking much within this year, even like the last couple months, like where I was when it was like pride season versus where I am now. Chef's kiss, chef's kiss. And then I'm just using this color fix from the Nessa Myers Beauty, and I was trying to like not like blend it too hard because I really didn't want the like product to like pick up and like my skin show through. But I feel like this actually did pretty good, and it might just be because like these color fix are like actually really pigmented. I'm not gonna lie to you, these are probably like one of the most like pigmented like cream like liquid products I have, and I definitely have to do sections with this because this will dry down and it's not gonna be able to move like once it dries down. And yeah, I'm just going section by section. This is how I would normally do anything with like a cream or like a liquid product, just to make sure nothing dries out, because that's the worst. I'm not gonna lie to you, that should be making me so mad. And I'm just using a smaller like concealer brush from Real Techniques, and I'm just blending out my nose, and then I'm going back in with that brush I used for my quote-unquote foundation, and then I spray my face with a hydrating setting spray. And then now I'm going in and setting my face. So for my like highlighted areas, I decided to use this Ben Nye Super White powder, because I did want the like highlighted areas to look like white, and I think I'm almost out of my like neon prismatic pigment from Jellywink that's in white. So this just made more sense, and it made sure that like, you know, I had enough product to like cover the entire area. And I did go over this multiple times. Like, I added powder to each area probably like 3 to 5 times just to make sure the pigment was there. And I'm just going in with this Stream Neon Prismatic, the chalk neon prismatic pigment from Jellywinks, because I don't know, something was telling me, I was like, I want this to be a little bit bluer. So yeah, that's what I did, and I actually really like how it turned out. When it comes to me doing like my face paint looks or my colorful bases, I really like to use the neon prismatic pigments from Jellywink, just because I feel like it just adds a little bit more vibrancy, and they make it like your base look a little bit more opaque, especially if it has like a patchy like cream like base. I don't know, these are just like really good. I know that's not what they're for, but that's what I love to use them for. And I've been trying to like use up as many as my makeup products as possible. And I know this color that I use for like my foundation color, I definitely need to like restock on that one whenever like I get the chance. And Jellywink, like, I'm not gonna lie, they have like a lot of good products. Like, that's one of my favorite makeup brands, if I'm being honest. And I decided to take like this greenish color from the ColourPop palette, because I just wanted to like do like a greenish like shadow like contour or whatever. I don't know, I was just trying to like trying to make it a little bit cooler, and something was just like the blue and green would eat, and the blue and green didn't in fact eat. And I'm just going back in with that brush I used for my all over powder, just to make sure everything is a little bit more seamless, going back in with that hydrating setting spray. And I'm so mad because, bro, you will see it later on when I do my blush, but I don't know why, but like the spray like came out and there was like big spots like on my like right cheek, and it made my blush look crazy. But yeah, but anyways, I'm going back in with those colors I used above my eye for my eyeshadow, and I'm just using like smaller, denser brushes to blend them out because I do want to like cover up my under eye area. I feel like that's what helps it like not crease, is me putting eyeshadow under there instead of me doing like just straight up concealer with translucent powder. And then now I'm taking my Exhibit A powder blush from NARS. This is like the only red blush I have, not gonna lie to you. And you know, I was doing good at first, and then like I was like layering. I feel like the lighter layer made the spots like not show up that much. But I'm a blush girly if you don't know, and I love to put this shit on. Like I'm going to put this shit on every time. And yeah, I'm just doing the same areas that I would normally do for my blush. And I was gonna use this liquid blush from Danessa, but I already knew once I did that the cream base and stuff, I knew for a fact that yeah, that shit was gonna pick up and I was gonna look even crazier. But anyways, I'm going back in, setting my face one more time with that hydrating setting spray, and then I'm doing my mascara for my top lashes. And you'll see me like go back and forth with like the mascara multiple times with multiple coats, just because whenever I do a light like base, or if I'm using something that's a lighter color to cut my crease, I don't know why, but like sometimes like when I do my mascara, it doesn't always cover up like the area that got like pigment on there. So I was trying to make sure that there wasn't any pigment on my eyelashes, because I hate when that happens, because I can see it in the pictures and it bothers me so much. Like people might not be able to notice it, but I notice it, and it's just like so yeah, I like went like the normal way, and then I went on top to make sure the top of the lashes like are actually coated well, because that's usually the area that like has the pigment, especially when I put on my lashes. And then I'm just using this lash liqueur made by Mitchell mascara for my bottom lashes, because this one is a really like small, like that's probably the smallest like mascara brush I've ever seen, and I feel like it definitely helps you get things a little bit more precise, especially if you don't like messy like under eye area. But I'm taking this Black Moon Cosmetics loose pigment in a Sapphire Dreams as a highlight, because I feel like the bluish color would be a really good highlight for this. Usually I try to like match my highlights versus like the colors I'm using in whatever look I do, and instead of using my Essence liquid liner, I just use the Forever Graphics ink liner from the Twilight collection, and then I spray my face with the liquid lock just to make sure everything was kind of set in place. And I want to do contacts, so these were the blue contacts. These are Celestia Blue from Unibling, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been in love with like my looks using my contacts. I don't know, it just adds a certain je ne sais quoi. And then I set my face with that Scratch by Cat spray, and then I'm going back in with one size. This is the Point Made Bodacious Black eyeliner, and I feel like this is a pretty good eyeliner. It's pretty pigmented. It's a smaller like eyeliner, so especially if you want to be precise, I feel like that would be good. And then I wanted to put these white pearls on my eyebrow slit, because I feel like that would match the vibe. And I'm taking these lashes from Plushy Lash. That's probably my favorite lash brand. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been trying to look for like lashes similar at like, you know, the beauty spot stores or the makeup stores, and I can never find any. So they will definitely have a customer in me for years to come. But anyways, I'm mixing this color for my lip because I wanted to do a color that was like kind of like connected to like the base of my face. I don't know, I feel like when I do that with my makeup looks, it just eats. So I mixed like this gray and like this blue, and this is the color I came out. It doesn't look too blue. I probably could have added a little bit more, but I already knew that the pigment or the product I had on my hand, I feel like that was enough anyway, and I was like, I don't want to waste any product. And I'm going in with Oasis, which is like this light blue color fix from the Netsmars Beauty. And whenever I'm like matching like my like lips to like my base or whatever, I like to use the color fix from Netsmars Beauty because they dry down matte and they're very pigmented. So I feel like, you know, I can do a bunch of different looks, and I have a bunch of different ones of them. So, you know, I feel like I can do a lot with it. And I just block my lips together. I probably could use like an eyeshadow brush and blend it out to make it like blend it a little bit more, but I don't be doing all this shit, I'm not gonna lie to you. And now that my lashes are tacky, I'm just putting them on. And the like best tip I have for putting on lashes is to put your mirror like underneath your face at an angle, and then just apply like that way you can like, you know, see if it's actually on your lash line. And then make sure you hold down each side. You don't see it that much, but like make sure you hold down your lashes. But anyways, this is the final look, and she ate. But anyways, I just want to say I love y'all so much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.